And in Virginia, we've got the teacher who was shot by a 6-year-old student expected to take the stand today. Abby Zwerner suing the assistant principal of the school, Dr. Ebony Parker, for a sum of $40 million. And that is our top story here on Opening Statements. The jury waiting for Zwerner's story. And they're thinking about some compelling visual elements that were presented in the courtroom on Wednesday, we have no doubt. So we want to talk about this. How will this affect the jury? Look at this. This is body camera footage showing the first responders taking care of Zwerner right after she was shot. She left the courtroom before the jury took a look at this. So she did not watch this video of herself on that horrific day, arguably the worst day of her life. Another strong moment was when an orthopedic surgeon testified about Abby's hand strength. Look at this. They brought her up to demonstrate the impact of her injuries for the jury. Dr. Romney Anderson spoke to the damage that has been permanently done to her hand.
Abby's hand is never going to be a normal hand. It's not going to be like her other side. But we've got it pretty darn close, and a lot of it's attributed to how hard she worked with therapy to do that. I mean, you can do a perfect surgery. If the patient doesn't do any therapy, they're not going to get a good outcome. So she's done a lot of work. I think she's done remarkably well with the number of injuries she's had there, but it's never going to be a normal hand.
So will her hand strength and that demonstration we saw there garner some sympathy from the jurors? How compelling do you think that body camera footage was for the jury to see? Let's talk about it with our expert guest. Let's bring in jury consultant and human behavior expert Susan Constantine and criminal defense and civil attorney. He's also a celebrity attorney, as we call him, John Phillips. Good morning to you both. Susan, I want to start with you, please, in the body camera footage. We see her right after she's shot. She made her way out of the courtroom. What impact do you think these two things have for the jury? One, the video, and also the fact that if they're looking over at counsel table, she's not there.
You know, we talked about this before, Julie. Optics matter. And this is a highly visual but also emotional video, and every juror that's in that room that's seeing this unfold and seeing the triggering, the color of blood and how impactful that is, seeing her on the ground, also her skin turning pale, she's in shock, is going to have a psychophysiological response from those jurors. So keep in mind, jurors are primarily visual and they're also kinesthetic, which is emotional. The two strongest emotional impacts you could possibly have in rendering a really high award verdict. I mean, this is exactly what we look for in a plaintiff case. So it's going to have a huge impact. I don't think you can unsee it. Once it's there, it's imprinted. It's not going away.
For sure, Susan. I couldn't agree with you more. Let's look at a clip of that body camera footage together now.
How many times was she shot? How many gunshots did you hear? One gunshot, okay. Sorry, ma'am, we're gonna get up close and personal with you, okay? Please.
You're okay.
Shot actively bleeding right now.
Nothing on the lower.
Okay. I'm gonna roll you over a little bit, okay? I wanna see if you're clean now. Okay. Go ahead and lift your arm a little bit. Okay. I have his mom. Are you okay anywhere else?
Yep.
John Phillips, want to tap into your lawyer brain on this one. Tell me, in terms of the strength that this gives to the plaintiff's case, your thoughts?
I love it. Not only from the perspective of the case, but from the reality of a shooting. I've represented victims in a lot of different shooting cases. And not only am I glad the jury saw it, every dang parent in America needs to face this reality. I'll get off the soapbox to go back to the question, but the trial lawyers here presenting this and doing so with their clientele, both addresses the perception and the reality. The perception being, look, you do create a moment here, and you're giving this video all of the weight it deserves, while also, kind of staging backstage with the client leaving and coming back and not sitting there, where the jury's watching them watch it. They're watching it. But it's very powerful. School shootings in America are like my hotbed issue with 13, 11, and 8-year-old kids. Teachers are under attack. And I'm leaning all the way forward on this case.
Yes, I know you are, John. Hey, I didn't mind you getting up on that soapbox. Go ahead, my friend. I shared the sentiments that you have shared with us. And when we think about that video coming in, I know that defense counsel has a job to do. They wanted to really restrict a lot of the hearsay statements, even things that the plaintiff herself was saying. At one point, she said, please just tell me a story. In other words, distract me, take me out of this. And the judge ruled that we're going to play the video and not have those audio elements for fear of it being too prejudicial. John Phillips, legally, was that the right call?
It is certainly, you've got hearsay, you've got hearsay's exceptions. It's a year-long class basically for us lawyers, as you know, and there's excited utterances. There's certain statements that are allowed, but also, as the plaintiff's lawyer, you kind of want the visuals to tell the story as well, and jurors wonder kind of what didn't I hear, but yeah, the judge did a good job and has broad discretion in these instances, but you got a powerful enough video. You don't need some of the more dramatic elements, even though, as the plaintiff's attorney, I would have argued for every single statement short of anything, prejudicial to my client, because it's like, Judge, this is the reality of a mass shooting. This is the pain and suffering. This is what she has to do to go through not just the immense physical pain, but emotional pain. And she was shot by a young child. Let's emphasize that.
Mm-hmm. Right, John. Yeah, and if they find liability here, then they'll make a determination of the compensation, as you know. So to your point, all of that could arguably go to that. Susan, I want to show another clip to you and get some analysis here. This is the hand demonstration that the doctor did with the plaintiff.
What about strength?
Oh, so grab both my fingers here. Just grab your whole. Just squeeze as hard as you can. This side would be considered normal. This is less than half.
Okay, Susan, how effective is it when you get the expert off the stand in front of the jury and you have one of the parties there with the expert?
When you demonstrate something visually, the impact is so huge that it's going to affect the jurors. When you see her fingers not really forming correctly, and this doctor is very credible. He's not overplaying the hand, so to speak, and it has impacted. You could actually see it, how it has deformed her hand. Everyone is looking at that. And the graphics of that are real. So they don't even have to force it. They don't have to play it up. I mean, the evidence is the evidence, and it speaks for itself, and that is enough to be able to get a really good verdict for this plaintiff.
Yes, and as we keep this video as the point of our conversation here, Susan, we can see the plaintiff and how she looks. We always talk about optics with every trial. So if you are new to the show, welcome. And so we're not just assessing this with Abby Zwerner. We do it with every single party to a case here. And so what are your thoughts on how they have her dressed for the trial?
I think they did a great job. I mean, I probably would have put her in burgundy. I mean, but at the same time, you think about it, probably was a good move because what she was emulating was the blood and trauma. So normally, if it were a defendant, I'd be going, oh, definitely don't put her in red, because it shows the trauma, the blood, of the gore. But here in this case, they want to show that. So I actually think that was a really good strategic move. And then, of course, the school sweater, right? Every teacher wears that little cardigan sweater. So I think it plays right into exactly who she is in real life. I don't think they had to play it hard. They're just doing what she does best, and that is being herself.
I agree with you, Susan. I love the white. I thought it looked really angelic on her, and the hair was just soft. Yeah, she looks beautiful and authentic. And we always talk about how that's so important. You and John know authenticity is everything in trial work. We will leave it here for now, but we're going to be talking more about Abby's twin sister a little later in the program. Susan Constantine, thank you so much for your assessments and all your expertise. We'll see you soon.